Welcome, welcome. Alrighty, how we all doing? Another week, another stream. Great to have ya. Why so sad? Welcome, the real Damon. How you doing, Raffaello? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Super. What's going on? Let me just get situated here. So today, I was thinking about doing something. Going back to my roots of realism and seeing what that's like in comparison to stylized stuff using the same reference. See how far we get. I thought it would be a nice little challenge, nice little throwback for myself. Ling Yun Chen, how you doing? Alright. Super, I cracked open Blender this past couple of days. I've been playing around with connecting object data, so you can like have like linked object data, and then have like to make, how do I say this? So you can have like a hello. Oh, here. So you can have like a cube, say, but then you can have like another cube behind it with like a displacement map to give like that fake, like with backface culling and all that sort of stuff. That fake like line weight that looks a lot more natural. And then like I've been playing around with weight painting it, so it's not all like uniform around the lines. Anyway, I've been having fun. Felipe, how you doing? We'll wait for Be Magical. What's going on? We'll wait for a few more people to roll in. Omega Marley, great to have you. There's an easier way to do it with a solidify modifier. That way you can keep it in one object. Oh, nice. Yeah, I can't wait to just dive that level deeper into Blender. Debbie, what's going on? Raki. My apologies. How you doing? Kiko, welcome back. It has the same features with weight painting and inverting and such. Ooh, I like it. Yeah, because it's a bit of a fuck around to connect the objects, link them, and blah, 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 blah. All right, so we'll get cracking momentarily. I'll link the Pinterest board on YouTube that has these faces, or this face in particular. My expressions Pinterest board. Oh, there's an echo? Okay, cool. Let me fix that. How's that now? Wait until you get into geometry nodes. I dipped my little toe into geometry nodes to flip the normals, because if you do, you can't. I had to do it with geometry nodes, otherwise both meshes would do that. Pin massage. Sweet. All right. So the big old idea, realistic versus stylized. It's not going to be a lesson. It's just going to be paint. And feel free to join along and chat. It's going to be a nice chilled session today. There might be some tangents. There might be some learnings. You never know. What time is it for everyone? Currently it's 10:51 a.m. every week these streams happen. So if you want to join in the future, it's probably not a bad idea saying it at the top. But yeah, every week we'll be here. 4:23 p.m. Nice, that's not too bad. Let's get... Oh, I'm anxious. I just want to get into it. Where's my glove? Where's my glove? That's one thing. I do lose my glove all the time. All right. Oh, no. We've got him. We've got him. I've also ordered a... Almost 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Good morning, Reiki. Up nice and bloody early. Be magical. This is definitely something that I hope to learn from. I can't get away from realism. Yeah, that was my issue. That was my biggest issue. Okay, let's nick off the smoothing. So we're going to start off with a sketch, right? And I'm going to be thinking about things very differently between the realistic and the stylized. I chose this guy. Also shout out Chris Lopez Gallery for this reference. He's got his thingy on there. 7 p.m. Nice. All right, so this is like an okay time to... I don't know about people in Europe though, how that goes, but I'm gonna change it up eventually. But here it's like a lot to do with measurement, not like physical, like I'm getting the ruler out, but you could. Now it depends how loose we want to get, how finicky we want to get with the details. I'm going to get into painting fairly quickly. And mind you, I haven't done realism in quite a while, so I might accidentally stylize because I've trained myself out of it for so long. Like I just want to simplify everything. But I think it's a good skill to have, to be able to, and it's not about details either, the realism side of stuff. It's a lot of it is just observation coupled with understanding of values and all that fundamental stuff. I'm still trying to simplify the shapes though. I don't want to get detailed too quickly. It's just we're not going to push them on this version, if that makes sense. Watching this before my lecture. Lynn, nice one. What lecture you got? I'm going to go into lectures. Lectures after lunch were the worst. Because back in the day, I didn't used to eat very well. And I would be in a food coma. Printing technology, very cool. Julia, how you doing? Great to have you. Now we could take this as far as understanding all the little bits of anatomy and that kind of thing, but I'm really just trying to find those shapes. For example, here, there's like a triangle-y kind of shape here. And I find with realism, at least like from my memory of doing it a lot, there's just like a very, very clear ugly stage, or just like a stage where you're just trying to find the pieces. And I'm sure you can train yourself out of that to be more efficient and whatnot. But I like this reference in particular because it has very subtle, like I want to challenge myself a little bit. It's got very subtle value transitions. So here, mustache, boom, boom, Boom. See, I haven't got any detail in the face or anything like that. These are kind of just landmarks. Landmarks to throw abstract shapes in. The opal, what's going on? But yeah, I used to do this all the time. I'll just be up until like 3 a.m. just doing this by myself. For no other reason than just for fun. Just for trying to get better. And there's many different schools of thought with this. There's different techniques. I'm going to be using just my memory of how I used to do it more so. Alright. But at the highest level, it's abstract shapes first. Because I don't know if you guys have ever been to like a museum or something like that. Or like an art gallery. And you go right up close to the oil paintings. And you're like, what even is this? Like, it's just a whole bunch of scribbles. But then you move back and you're like, holy shit, it's a masterpiece. That's the coolest thing to me. So we want to try and get a bit of that. Whether we get it today, I don't know. Not making any promises. Here, and I'm using a lot of straights as well. A lot of straight lines. A lot of... Because I find that straight lines you can... I personally can measure them a lot easier. Instead of like trying to get just the right curve. I can like almost chip. Just like sculpting. I can think of like if I want to get the nose just right. I can like chip away. Chip that edge off. Right, chip that bottom edge off, chip this off, and then you kind of like work your way in to doing the curve, if that makes sense. It's kind of just a habit I've gotten into, but it's like it does help. Yeah, all this week I've been again still coding my little buns off with the new course platform. I've started to build the course in the course platform and like build courses. It's like it's really cool. It's starting to feel like a thing. I've been working on I implemented search last week. I've got like reactions dashboard and like analytics dashboard working, where you'll be able to give permissions to students or whoever really of like what of who can like give you feedback on like lessons or whole courses or whatever, and then they can add reactions, but the reactions are tagged in a certain way so you can get an overview of like, okay, what parts are confusing, what parts feel really slow, what are like big aha moments that like make a lot of sense, what are like very clear like useful parts. So at a glance you'll be able to see how good your the content that you're putting out is, and in doing that you can see opportunities for content as well. As like a teacher, you'll be able to say, oh, okay, cool, like 100 students did this like same tag around this same area, saying like, yeah, this made so much sense, it finally makes sense, da, 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 da. Awesome. That's content that you can use that particular thing on your content plans and all that kind of stuff. So cannot wait. Those sharp angles are super satisfying. Yeah, I love them. Cough, impressionism, cough, yeah. It always seems awesome when you see everything come together. I know, I love it. I love it. Oh, sorry to hear it, Lana. I hope you're feeling better. Now what I'm talking about with this like really simple shapes is here I've just literally kind of bordered in the eyes, and you can see his eye direction already. Just like that. So you don't have to get detailed. Detailed is for me, detail is like the icing. It's the icing on the cake. You probably heard that a lot, but oh, it's your birthday as well. Oh, sorry to hear it, Lana, but happy birthday for tomorrow. What I'm doing here as well is just measuring, and this is a skill you just got to like. It's just a lot of repetition is to get good at measuring. So, for example, I'm like measuring the distance between like here and here. So there's like a little shape in here. So then I'm trying to do that here and here, and that's going to influence. Okay, then there's like a little triangle section in here. Cool, and that's connected to the shape that I've just made here. You know? So you can just keep going and going and going and going and going. That's one way to do it. Now I think I might just start slapping some values down. We've got things kind of in place. Let's start throwing some shapes down. Now I'm gonna use the Filthy plugin. Shout out, links in the description. I'm just gonna start with a value range, or just like with some. Now there's different schools of thought with this, like starting with the darks first, or starting with the lights first, and that kind of thing. I kind of go back and forth between it. I almost want to start with like a light dark. I don't know if that makes any sense. Be magical. Before you just added the iris, it was so cool how you could see them through the details of the glasses. Love watching it come together. Yeah, well that's what you've almost got to like matrix your way into the image, and don't think about what the eye. You're not drawing an eye, right? With this kind of stuff, you're not drawing an eye, you're not drawing a nose, you're not drawing glasses, you're not drawing a beard. You're drawing a bunch of abstract shapes, right? And once that clicked for me, oh, it was game on. You guys can't on fun stuff with me. Oh, you just chill out, Lana. We'll do the work today. So one thing I do like to do, like this is the thing, there's so much information out there. I always get like when I'm learning new things or whatever, I'm just like, what do I do? Because one artist will be like, oh, do it this way. And then another will be like, oh, that way's wrong. That's why I really put an emphasis on the whys. Why are people doing certain things? Because then you can kind of come, after trying stuff out, you can come to your own conclusions if you understand the foundations of what you're doing and why you're doing stuff. Instead of just like, do the darks first, you know what I mean? Put the darks down first. Why? Why am I doing that? Like, is it, I can, from what I understand, it's to have a clear understanding of simple values to begin with, and some people find it easier to distinguish the darks first, and then they see the lights easier, so they know their extremities. Some people, and I'm kind of like this, I like to kind of creep up on the darkest darks. I don't want to throw in the darkest darks first. I want to still hold the value structure. So I'm not going full value in the glasses here to begin with. I'm just going to squint down and see if I can group them, you know? Like I might just have this whole thing as a shape. All right. This whole thing. And this is where the artistic side comes in with this sort of stuff. It's your decision where you compress these values. Where do you make the decision to throw it into certain value ranges and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's good. It's really, really, I know people, like a lot of people are saying they want to get away from realism. I think it's a very, very good skill to have. or it's not even really, it's just like the ability to observe is a wicked skill to have. I'm a bit of everything sometimes. I do the darks first, sometimes the lights, and sometimes I'm in the bit. Yeah, me too. Me too. And I think it also can depend on the reference as well. It's not like a... That's the fun part. You'll find different ways of being more efficient. You'll find different ways of doing all this stuff. Test it all out. Have a ton of fun figuring it out. It's all a big puzzle that can be figured out. And this actually, this way of thinking really helps with like oil painting. When I did a bit of oils back in the day, I found a photo of like one of my first oil paintings, because I spent so much time doing this kind of stuff. It did help. It was just a different medium. Now, a lot of this also, the skin is going to be a lot darker than you think it is, because it's got to be in context of everything. So we've got our darks here. Let's see if we can grab this. Let's just go like a little, like just a smidge lighter. Because it's like a very, what's the word? There's not like ultra clear lights and darks. It's kind of, you got like really nice smooth transitions. This is why I like chose this reference, because it's kind of tricky. In many ways it's very, very tricky. And some of the proportions are off and all that fun stuff, so we can fix that when we just straight up begin to paint, instead of just blocking stuff in. And the eyes aren't white. They're the furthest thing from white. The lightest part is going to be that highlight on his forehead, I think, or somewhere in his beard. So again, squinting down, and there's no way to tell, and that's why I think you see a lot of artists, they'll throw paint down on the canvas. Be magical. I get so into fleshing out the shadows and lights, etc. That's the fun of it. That's the best part. But you see a lot of artists, like traditional artists, they'll get stuff on the canvas. The reason for that is you can't, like, at least I can't judge values if there's nothing on there to judge, if that makes sense. So it's all in comparison. Like, it's the same as if you go into Photoshop and you just like adjust the contrast. It's still the same image, right? It still looks the same, but you like tweak it, even if you do any like photo editing and that kind of thing. It's just the relationships between those values change. So this is where you can even make the decision to like make it more like higher key. Spooky specs over rendering can be a struggle. True. Agreed. 12 Slowem. Hello, I watch your streams all the time. I want to say that you are a super talented person, always motivated. Thank you for your stream. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. I know there's a few of you that you just hang out and watch, which is totally cool, because that's what I do. I usually, with any content that I watch, I'm a lurker in the shadows. But no, I appreciate you popping in. All right, so once we've got stuff on the canvas, this is where we can start to play, and we can start to compare. Right, the beard's white here. It looks very white, just in comparison at the moment. So what's the next? Now, a lot of this is going to be playing around in the midtones, which is all in the lights, which is kind of what we are, except for like maybe in this little section here and like a little bit in the cast shadow. We'll have some fun. I still want to, do I dare throw this here? Now, if you're not already, squint your eyes. If you need glasses, take them off. The lurkers are cool. If you guys weren't around, artists would reach so many fewer people. I just have too much. Yeah, no, very true. Opal, very true. Shout out to the lurkers. Okay. So now we're playing with stuff now. Now I want to knock down this beard a lot. Add some texture, and this is the equivalent of getting the brush mixing like a little bit of a darker value and just knocking this in, and a little bit more black in there, or a darker value, whatever you're using. Now I might start to go a little bit faster. This is not faster just because. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. I just want to go faster. If I'm honest, there's no profound reasoning. I just want to throw these. Why is this? Oh no, this is very annoying. If you're using Filthy and you're on the latest version of Photoshop, remove the contextual taskbar. So it just adds the shapes without throwing up that little fucking thing all the time. Yeti, quick question. What size do you usually make your canvas when you go live? 4,000 by 4,000. It just gives me a lot of room to do tangents. so then I can zoom in and do all that fun stuff. Hope you're doing well, Yeti. Lynn, I'm tempted to keep this stream on during my lecture. It's completely up to you. Just keep the volume low. No worries, Yeti. See, I'm also planning to head back to the US this year. I bloody had such a good time last year. I couldn't not. That's the plan anyway. I really want to head back there because it was so much fun. All right, now we've got something. Okay, we can start playing. We can start finessing. We can start sort of pushing and pulling and adding more stuff. Okay, but we're not just adding stuff just for the sake of it. We really want to squint down and think, what are we doing here? You know, I might even, JR, how you doing? JR. Junior J Junior. You're going to do New York this time? I've been looking at Airbnbs in New York. For sure. Even had a chat to Slewy Boy. Might pop past. I'd love to pop past his studio. Come say hi. I saw he did a, if you haven't, check out Slew's video on Andrew Kadima. I think that's his last name, Andrew Kadima. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, oh, there we go. Got giving it to me straight away. Let's just get past the ad. Oh, hurry up. No, I'm not. You're not paying me to show that ad. Here we go. Yeah. So this has inspired me a lot, actually. Like, I'm probably in the near future. This is what happens. I like look at content. I'm like, oh, that's looks like fun, and then I give it a whirl. So yeah, and a lot of this principles that we're doing here fits into this as well. So yeah, if you haven't, check out Andrew's stuff. Right, he's even got a course on this, I think, like on this workshop that he did. But yeah, very cool. Lana, yeah. Sleuth. Ruben, when you move your other windows off screen top, it's like you're looking into the heavens. Ads, aren't they the greatest? We've got some creepy ones. Some lady whispering and clicking her nails like a maniac. It was a freaking Microsoft ad. How do you, that's the funny thing. Some of those larger companies, they're so late to trends. It's like, yeah, look, those clicky nail things. That was like beginning of last year. All right, let's start punching some of these values in. So I can see here is a lot lighter, right? Too light, way too light. So this is the best thing. We got comparison on our side, so we can compare all of these values with one another. Right, and even just that just starts to round it, because here's lighter, rounds down into darkness, darker stuff. What I might do as well, all right. Here can be a lot darker. As if we squint our eyes, again, squinting down all the time. Here is rolling down into slightly darker values. Not in shadow per se. It's very, very soft lighting, so it's very tricky. But here we go. All right, so just with shapes. That's all we're doing. Just with shapes. No details. Don't even think. Don't even mention details. None of that yet. Or ever. We might just carve our way into accidentally doing some details. Now this whole thing here, this little shape, we can darken that right down, that's for sure. Now the reason I like to give myself room, like I said before with my values, not going the darkest darks, is because then I can start to judge where I want to give some contrast, where I want to push some of these values to really like make it just a little bit more, I don't know, better, for lack of a better word. But like even in the glasses here, these are kind of the darkest darks, right? But I'm not going full value. I want to push this shadow in underneath the nose a little bit more. We do need to fix the eyes a tad. That's all right, we'll get there. And the eyes, I don't even think we'll get that dark with the eyes. This might be the darkest that will go with the eyes. Finding these little shapes. Fat Cappy. Okay, here we go. I haven't even read it. I haven't even read it. Is it going to be a good one? Is it going to be a good one? Let's see. Ben really nailed that shadow over the mustache. He really knows his way drawing shadows, doesn't he? You missed a round. You missed a round. He knows his way around drawing shadows, doesn't he? 6.5. I'll give you 6.5. Not bad. Not bad. How you doing, Fat Cappy? Hope you're well. But this is quite like, this is very like relaxing. Oh, crap. Crap. Yeah, doing well, man. Doing well. This is like quite meditative for me because it's like kind of tickles a part of my brain that's just, or that I don't usually tickle. That sounds odd, but I said it. But these, like, this is where the idea of every plane change, or like every value change is a plane change, although that's not always true. There are caveats to that. It's where having that going in the back of my head all the time, every plane, like every value change is a plane change. It's really helpful. Although what I mean by that, there's some caveats. Like here, he's got some local values of his head. Like he's got some, I guess you might say, like sunspots on his head that are darker in value. That doesn't necessarily mean that the planes are changing. So there are caveats with it. But yeah, a plane true. There you go. Shout out. I've got a whole bunch of resin in the garage waiting to do a new batch. That's probably not coming till later on this year, but there'll be more Janes coming. Okay. Also, I don't know if you guys have seen on social media recently, carousels. I've been seeing them on like other artists' page and stuff. Seem to be having a bit of a resurgence, which is pretty cool. So if you guys are in the content game, that's a nice little one. Also, the trial reels, very, very helpful, very cool. The trial reels actually only send it out to non-followers, so you get an idea of if it's going to work or not. You posted 2 shorts. It was a month and a half since the first one. I call that, that's a bloody good accomplishment. Good stuff, Opal. Yeah, I'd give the trial reels a go as well. Descenendo. Oh, Clarissa, yeah. Yep. So that's the thing. Like, carousel's not the one with the horse. I imagine. No, it's like the multiple images that you like swipe. I appreciate it. Be magical. The opal. But that's a beautiful thing. If you're honest, if I'm honest, no one, like, it's not no one cares, but like, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. Like, I could think that as well. I was like, oh, I haven't posted in a while. There's a lot of content out there, you know? So don't feel bad. Don't feel guilty. Just keep on the track. Just do your thing. But see how this is slowly come together? The likeness isn't quite there. We got to mess around with some values and whatnot. I really want to make sure we're getting these value relationships working well. But yeah, so carousels, yeah, they're working well, apparently, just from observation. They are easy to save and share, and you can get really creative with them. You notice I'm not putting in the highlights yet. The highlights are my reward for laying in the values in a way that makes sense. I don't deserve the highlights yet. I am not worthy of the highlights. There you go. It's like Shia LaBeouf once said. But yeah, super. Where did I? Yeah, no, there's a very good YouTube video on doing that like toon shader kind of thing, but it was like really nice. It was like mixed with hand drawn. The coolest thing about Arcane is that all these content creators have come out of the woodwork trying to figure out how they did it, and there's some really cool workarounds in Blender to get that kind of effect, which is sick. And I think there's going to be some updates to Blender sculpting as well. I've read somewhere. I haven't had a look. I can't even remember the update. It's like what it was going to. I remember it was cool. Maybe it was it was layers, like how Nomad Sculpt and I think maybe ZBrush. I've never used ZBrush. Which is cool. Because I really like that about Nomad Sculpt. That's like really beneficial. All right, let's get some of this beard. Let's lock these values right down, because it's not. It is a white beard, but it's not. But it is, but it's not. And when you start doing more and more of these, you understand what I mean. Now, the whole angle and everything of his face is a little bit off. This is where we can start to get finicky with our shapes if we wanted to. We could zoom right in, and I might do a bit of that and just like start matching shapes. Excuse me, a little bit more. Sculpt layers would be cool. Honestly, I don't really sculpt in a way that would probably work with layers. So that's fair. That's fair with me doing a bunch of low poly stuff. Yeah, nah, that's fair. Have you been like, do you do any like much scripting? Well, I guess with your game, obviously. Have you been utilizing any of the like cursor stuff, like the cursor, like IDE stuff? I'm not sure if that works for games or if you're working in a particular engine that needs a particular IDE. We can start nudging things. And this is what you do with oil paint. For those oil painters out there, you know what I'm talking about. You start nudging these shapes around. This eye, I think, is way wrong, but I can't quite see it just yet. Now, I kept this black and white. Well, I chose a black and white reference just for speed for the stream, because I think color would be a little bit intense. Appreciate it, Lana. Making a game, how cool. I know, right? That's pretty cool. No, I'm very jealous. Catch you later, be magical. Thanks for popping in. I'm very beginner, intermediate with coding, so I'm using Unity with C#. I've made one asset in Blender, and that was just to reintroduce an item panel to the properties for renaming stuff. Nice! Because I've been, even with our After Effects, let's say, I've been like whipping up scripts pretty easily for like workflow stuff, which has been amazing. Because let's just say the API for doing scripting in After Effects isn't the best in the world, but utilizing some of these tools that are out there now to like just get stuff done where I don't want to spend like a week understanding why. You're animating some stuff for the game. Oh, fantastic. But it's just like getting rid of some of the drudgery of coding, which is nice. But you still, I still think there's like a massive value of understanding what you're doing, because you got some people though that are like whipping up. There was something on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Someone just like AI'd their whole code base basically, and it messed up, and they don't understand the language, and they're just like, help, I don't know what to do. They didn't understand, like, are you like super, you use version control? Is it the same with game stuff? Like you use like Git, I'm assuming? I want to be more flexible with making stuff for Blender, add-ons and that, but I have trouble with the documentation. With honestly, super, check out Cursor. Like it's, for that kind of stuff, I reckon it's amazing. Like it's, yeah. It's just a massive, massive, massive like productivity boost. I do use version control, GitHub desktop. Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Stupid question, but I didn't know if it was the same or if there was like a game specific. It saved me so much. Yeah. It was hard to wrap my head around first time, like a long, long, long time ago. I was like, what even is, just save it. But no, Git is awesome. What we want to do with Drea is we want to have version control, but for the content that you put out. So each lesson will have like versions, so you can like jump between them and like go back and forth, try things out, see if they resonate with people, get feedback. It's like saving states in an emulator. Yeah. Like I think having like Git be more mainstream in like stuff would be very cool, because it's kind of like sideload to coding. Sorry, I'm just changing my music. Deepest apologies. Yeah, so Aaron M. Vanilla. Ben, do you just lasso or draw the color? So this is something called the Filthy plugin. It's a plugin that me and my good friend Francis put together, which automatically does that for you. So you can just vanilla straight up do it in Photoshop. There's no reason why you can't do that. You don't need the plugin by any means, but we made this because it was a big problem for me and I wanted it to work like this, and now it does. So yeah, check out the link in the description if you want to check it out, but know that you don't need it, but you can get it if you want it. But yeah, so this is like the realism one of the realism workflows that I would use to study values. Now this eye. So what I'm looking for here is these simple shapes. You could even go as far as getting this image, and I can't remember what filter it is. It's like one of these filters. Like, I mean, you could even like blur it yourself, like here, if you wanted to. So then that takes away all of the, I mean, it doesn't even look blurred on YouTube because it is so far away that I'm looking at it. But you could do that, and then it just like takes away a lot of the details. But I like to just know that I can do it like this. Some would call me a purist. Ronald, your illustrations, your line and visual concepts are amazing. Congratulations. Oh, thank you so much, Ronald. Thanks for popping in. You're not going to be in Lightbox this year, or you haven't decided yet? I'd love to, yeah. And you like to do it in grey before color every time? No, not every time. No, it really, oh, where am I drawing? What's going on? Hello? And this at this point, we could start adding in some like edges. So this is where we get fancy and we get a brush. What brush do we want to use? I don't know. I just want a painting brush. Excuse me. I mean, I might just, yeah, try this. No. Oh, just do a flat. We could even do like a triangle. I was playing around with brushes. Just making that. Actually, no, wrong. What's grunge? This is another one I was playing around with. That'll do. That's quite okay. And what I might do is I'll whip open the old brush properties panel, or the brush settings. Now, I don't want you to get too like OCD with all of this stuff. It doesn't really matter. I just don't want the pen, the size control, let's say, so it doesn't get thick and thin like line work. I'm just wanting something that has this kind of vibe to it, where I can just throw down that and it's the size that I make it. If that, I don't even know if those words that I said even made any sense whatsoever. But now we can start painting. Noise median. Pablo, what's that one? The filter? It's not hard to learn, it's just daunting. All it is learning a language to tell the computer instructions. It feels scary to learn coding, but it's not that bad. Very true. It's one of, honestly, second to like drawing and stuff, like understanding the visual language, coding is such a valuable skill. I love it. And honestly, with all these tools out there, now is probably the best time to learn it. And actually like and understand it and get good at like understanding it. I just have so much fun with it. Yeah. Now I can see a lot of issues here, but we will slowly knock those out. This, yep, glasses needs to come in. And because we've thrown a whole bunch of values in here that are already here, we can use them almost as like a palette. And don't be afraid to just like nuke sections completely. Just like, if it's not working, it's not working. Alright. Ear darker. Definitely darker. Let's make these edges a little bit smoother. Blend them in just a tad. Because that's even looking at like Line Decker's work, right? He has a real, is not all, like people always say shapes. Line Decker shapes. Line Decker shapes. It's true, very true. But within the shapes and how those shapes sort of like interweave with one another, that's the fun part. Some have really, really soft edges. Some have really hard edges. Some are just like a straight up triangle. But then some are like a triangle with a gradient from like one value to another. Ruben, basic JavaScript saves me time in, yeah. I can charge the same amount, but do it in 3/4 of the time. Yeah, exactly. It's automation. But you've got to understand like what you want out of that as well. So you just got to be clear with the computer. But yeah, JavaScript's a great one. Lost and found edges. There you go, Ruben. That's it. I'm going to head out for a bit. Hopefully I'll catch you some more before the stream ends. Catch you later, Opal. All right, so we haven't even touched any of the what you call it, the highlights. They will be coming. I think we've got to, this is very like high key still, so I think we've got to really squint down and start to analyze our values. I'm just coming over and almost like glazing the values a little bit here to darken parts down that makes sense to be darker. This nose, I think we can move it this way a tad. It's a fantastic little exercise. Highly recommend it. Particularly if you can have this skill and like weave it in to your more stylized stuff. So I want to like do some traditional work that's like stylized, but it's like oil painterly, which would be really cool. Yeah, this is a lot darker down here. Alright, let's speed this up. Let's get going with these shapes. As you slowly go, it's almost like I'm what's the word? I'm like going almost like a layer at a time. For those Blender users out there, it's like I'm using the multi-resolution modifier. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. So I've just like locked it all down. I think his head's a little bit. This is where we can start getting a little bit finicky with our shapes. You know, start to think about how this head actually works. How it works. How it's positioned. And hopefully we can do a little magic trick of adding the highlights when the time's right. The time is not right, but it's getting closer. I mean, we could do a cheeky little preview if we wanted to, but I've also seen what's his face? Jason Seiler, where he'll actually like sketch stuff. So he'll like come in here and instead of doing like these big blocks of color, he'll like sketch these values, which is another great way of doing it. It's kind of potentially a little bit faster as well if you just start hatching in some of these smaller shapes. It gives a different look, a different feel to it. But all of this, like this is like a lot of principles I'm thinking about at the same time. It's not just whipping in shapes. I'm thinking about the roundness of this thing, understanding the type of light that's going on here. And I think we could darken this down quite a bit. Yeah, when you zoom out, that's kind of what we should have done earlier. When you zoom out, you can see where all the little issues are. So I'll come through and see if we can knock this down. Now it's not going to be exactly one-to-one here because I've gone all over the place. And there's like a lost edge with the beard here as well. Kind of. like a semi-lost edge. You could come through and do a little smudge work. And then bring back some of those. We could even do it with the filthy. Like bring back in some of this. I mean, this is getting stylized though, so you got to choose where you want to do stuff. Highly technical here. Lana, I'm falling asleep. I'm going to be dreaming of it. She gets some rest, Lana. You gotta heal up. Now let's see if we can get some of these darker values in here. Now it's funny how your brain will play tricks on you, particularly with values. This is why you just got to concentrate. Squint your eyes a little bit. What the fuck? Are we back? That was definitely YouTube's end, I think. We're back? Okay, yeah, that wasn't me. It wasn't, for once it wasn't me. Because everything else is working. Well. Okay, we're back. We're back and we can continue whipping in these values. Keep me on my toes, YouTube. What are we doing here? So he's got that little bit of eyebrow coming over, which gives us a little landmark to then look at where the eye is. This is way too bright. These eyes are way too bright. So we've got to ask ourselves, based on the shapes around it, does this need to be darker? Does it need to be lighter? Lighter or darker? Lighter or darker? That's feeling a little bit more true. To the reference, you know. We could do let's see, way too high of a highlight. We could start maybe being a little cheeky. But the highlights in themselves have variation as well. So that's where the highlights would kind of be. We zoom out, it starts to kind of look a little bit better. I've stylized his mouth. His mouth is all the way down here. Let's scooch that up a bit. It's a very hard habit to get out of once you start to do stylized stuff, because that's all I've done for so long. And then, oh no, we've lost him and he's back. So we've also got we've zoomed right the way in, we've got this little triangle here that's a lot brighter than either side here. That's not the case here, right? So we can, mental note, whip in that triangle shape. Now that looks like a plane that's facing more of the light, right? We can do the same with the eye. We can zoom right in here, and we can, this is what I wouldn't recommend doing at the beginning, because you could see why, because we zoomed out and it looked completely different. But now we're at a point where it kind of would make a little bit of sense to get a little bit finessey with our shapes and just lock them in a way. We can't want to lock in the shapes just that little bit more. Now I did write a little script. Doesn't work. What have we got? Scripts. Is it here? Decrease brightness, increase brightness. Okay. Z and X. Does that work? Yeah. Okay, so I might release this at some stage. So you can see I'm just going to go very slightly up and down in brightness. All right, just with hotkeys, which is like a nice little time saver. So I've just got to remember down, down, down. No, that's up. Okay, so X is, yeah, and you can like add it to whatever key bindings that you want. And I think currently it does something with the saturation as well, but we will not worry about that for now. So let's take a look. These, now this is if we're getting really into the weeds. With our shapes. You just got to start to look for what's standing out. What is standing out that needs to not stand out? This whole section needs to not stand out. But if we do that, then it's going to stand out a little bit too much. And this is exactly the same if you were doing what's the word? Traditional. I'd be thinking about this exactly the same. We can creep up on that little highlight, and the highlights still happen in the shadows. AI, YouTube AI trying to suppress hand drawn. But what did you draw when you first ever started? It was realism? Yeah, correct, Lana. So this is like a throwback in a way. Value Babe, how you doing? Great to have you back. Vivid Fox, how you doing? I'm at your Lightbox. I was carrying my son with me, who is also named Ben. Nice one. Ah, great to have you pop in. How you been? You heading back this year? I hope it's still on this year. That's the question. Also, quick tip for those that are going to... Oh, no. What have I done? What have I done? No, don't quit. Oh, my God. Those that... No, not that one. Here we go. That are either tabling or are around a lot of people. One thing that saves me... Maybe I shouldn't be giving pharmaceutical advice on stream. Probably shouldn't. Look into something called NAC by Andrew Huberman. He's talked about it. It saved my ass from getting the cold while I was meeting a ton of people. And it's also what I believe like nurses and people in the medical like the medical industries do, because they're around sick people all the time. Saved my ass a lot, because as soon as I got to LA, to California, sorry, I got sick. So I just did a bunch of research on how to not, because I was there for like 2 weeks beforehand. But yeah, I want to make it out to New York. Want to get some coffee. I lost my voice from half a day of Lightbox for like days. It was, I know, the throat spray, the sore throat spray, game changer. I couldn't have done it without that. You see how we're just slowly chipping away at this? Observing, chip away, observing, chip away. Here, a little bit darker. Boom, 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 boom. And there's a little sliver of light there. It's still very angular, which I like. I'm never going to lose any of that, like that stylization. I can't help it. What are you going to do? Wait, what is it? I need that now. Look up NAC. I think it is. Can't remember what it's called. It's some kind of herbal thing. No, it's it actually works. No, I'm kidding. NA. Just look up NAC. NAC Andrew Huberman, and that saved me. Consult your doctor. I'm not a medical professional. This is just my thoughts. Ben Eblin Studios. What is it? Actually, I can't, like, this is not the, what do people say that like employees at places when they say shit? They're like, these are my own thoughts and do not reflect that of the blah, 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 blah. But how does that work when I am the only employee at Ben Eblin Studios? A couple of years ago, my wife and I got horribly sick, like fever and all, 5 days before we were getting ready. Oh man, we had an unplanned 6-hour layover. Oh, dude, that sucks. This is not medical advice. True, it's not. It's not. I'm just saying things. Yeah, I'm not sure if it works when you're already sick. It does. It's like a very specific thing that it does for ramping up your immune system or something. Again, not medical advice. I'm just saying what I did. I don't want to hear anyone coming back to stream and say, hey, I took this and I'm allergic to it or whatever. Consult a medical professional. Yeah, slowly. You see how we can start to get, like, that eye looks the most realistic thing of the whole thing now. Because we've just kind of increased the resolution of our decision making. If that makes any sense at all. So now this eye, and it's quite therapeutic. Like, this is a nice, just fun exercise to do. There is a clear right or wrong, which is nice, which you don't often get with study. It is kind of hard sometimes to know if, like, oh, like, is it right? Is it wrong? Now, it might be beneficial to actually do this in context of at least the other part of the eye, so we get some sort of context, so we know what's happening. All right, so we come here, darker here. Now I'm looking at shapes like this triangle, this like tiny little sliver. That all of this is also likeness. This is like features in this lighting scenario. This is what makes him look like him. It's an amino acid, buddy. There you go, Lana. Do I know what that is? I'm not going to pretend to know what that is. Should I probably know what that is? Probably. Vivid, whenever I zoom in that close, I like to keep another window open with the entire image so I don't... Oh, Vivid. Good call. Such a good idea. I always think to do that after I've started something, even with my stylized stuff. It's the navigation thing, isn't it? Window, the navigator. Yeah, here we go. Good call, Vivid. Nice one. But it's really small here, which does it. I guess yeah, it's still helpful. Oh no, you can also, yeah, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? We do a better way. New window. That's how I do all my recordings. For those that are doing content. Uh-oh. Oof. Yeah, let's do a quick save. Let's do a cheeky little, let's call him Beard Dude. Naming things like that, shoot myself in the foot so many times trying to find it after, but new window. Yeah, so then if you don't want like all the zooming in and out and you're recording stuff, here, just screen record this window. If it wants, just go to the side. Go on the side, excuse me, almost. There we go. So now we can keep track. Bloody good call, Vivid. Good stuff. Go to arrange new window for file name. Yeah. Yep. Very good call. I've got to do this more often. For a second I thought it was 11:30 p.m. on my time because I scheduled my phone to turn grayscale. How do you schedule your phone to do grayscale? That's cool. Is it an iPhone? Wow, I've got a pretty DMX Where the Hood At. Bloody good gym song. Not the kind of vibes I'm looking for right now. I can't wait for there to be something that I just pay for where I can put my Spotify playlist on stream. No, Android, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Apple will probably have that in the next like 6 years then. Alright, start to slowly, but surely get some of this going. I've also on Spotify, it's pretty cool. They've got like this, what is it? Shuffle, but it's like a special shuffle. Say that 10 times fast. It's a special shuffle, so it'll like give you recommendations. And it's like bringing up all these songs from like high school and stuff, which is cool. But then you start listening to some of the lyrics of some of these songs, which I wasn't even paying attention to back in high school. I'm like, holy shit. Like even Eminem and stuff when I was like way young, like primary school. I'm just like, oh, whoa. That's, I shouldn't have been listening to that, but thank God I didn't even know what he was talking about. Ejart, what will be your advice for an up-and-coming artist like myself? Very vague question, unfortunately. So I can't give you like a great answer, but I guess I could give you an annoying answer, which is probably the most beneficial. What do you want to do? There's a million and one things that you can do. Getting very clear on that. Damien, since you've gotten your Wacom, are there any things that you dislike and some things that you really like? Okay, very good question. I dislike that there's a bloody green line straight down the middle of it. Very annoying, but I don't really see it anymore, and I can kind of use it as like a plumb line or like a divider line for whatever. So it's if that's the worst thing that's happening, I'm doing it right. Second, keyboard. It's bloody big. It's 32 inches. I've got to have my keyboard off to the side when I'm using it. I would like to get maybe like that, you know, like the little tour box or something. I want to try that out. They did reach out to me. I might just get one so I don't, yeah, I don't know. Like something like that could be helpful instead of having to remember. Like I'm always like looking, and because I always misclick or mistype stuff. Pause for dickheads on bikes. Okay. I don't know if you guys heard that. But yeah, that's one of the biggest annoyances, let's say. Potato Jet has a sponsor that's a subscription for licensing songs. It connects to your YouTube account too. I don't remember what it's called though. You probably set up a playlist. Interesting. Did you make that noise happen? No. No, that's just nuffs around the bloody neighborhood that love to just hoon around in their shitty cars. I want to go into digital art. I'm just doing it the traditional way. What drawing tablet would you recommend? Well, what you can afford, really. Get a decent one. XP Pen, like honestly, like not sponsored by anyone. XP Pen, XP Pen Pro 15. I used that for a long time. It did finally give out on me, but that's a good one. Then you got to decide: do you want a screen tablet or just like a normal, like a tablet? So you just got to make a decision there. That is a big price difference as well. Biggest wake on fail: suspending production of the art pen with barrel rotation. Interesting. I've never had a pen with barrel rotation, so I wouldn't even know what I'm missing. Does this one have it? I haven't tried it. I have the same Cintiq, but 24 inches. I love it. Miss Dura. Yeah, they're bloody good. They're great. Like now I don't think I could not have a screen tablet because I love it. That's so loud. It's so annoying, especially when you're recording. Oh, should pop the tires safely. It's just a junker with a hole in the muffler. Exactly. Some of these cars just sound like big farts, if I'm honest. They think they're so cool and they're just driving around and it's just a massive, just bloody releasing gas everywhere. Motorcycles aren't as bad as noisy trucks around here, or music blasting so we can hear it inside the house, which is well away from the road. Yeah, I know. Mind you, I think I've been guilty of that, the music one, so I can't be a hypocrite with that. But it's just like kids around here as well, and just, you know, like the fucking dickheads that are doing that sort of stuff, and it's just, I don't know. It's not just the annoying part, it's like the whole, yeah, car accident kind of thing that shits me, but it is what it is. Alright, squinting my eyes down. We're slowly getting there. But see how it's like kind of coming together slowly but surely into realism land? So this is a nice little throwback to what I used to do every bloody time I sat down and drew, was this. And it's a wicked skill to have. I recommend giving it a shot if you don't know or you haven't thought to do this, because it really does teach you. But then go a step further and understand why are these values happening, what's making the shine happen on this glasses here, and why does that look so cool when I just go bing and like throw the shine there, because it's in context of everything else. And you can get really finicky with the pores and everything. And a lot of the realism with the highlights and stuff is the breakup of texture. And just messing around with the values. But do you not like to do realism anymore, or you prefer I prefer stylized personally, just because I've done it. I did realism for so long. I didn't really post like barely any realism things. It's just a very different way of thinking, but it is fun at the same time. But it's just not where I'm focused on my artistic growth, let's say. But it does have its benefits, like understanding values. It's a great tool for doing that. Vivid, I'm currently trying to do something similar, although I'm using some brushes with textures instead of selection. Yeah, you could do it with brushes with texture. You could do it with real brushes, gouache, oils, acrylic, whatever. Like, that's the fun part about all this stuff. You can do it however which way that you want. Baby Bab, I realized that good line work is so important to me, and as much as I love the idea of screen tablets giving me a feast for the eyes, I need the control that working on real paper delivers. That's one thing that's one reason why the screen, like, I was sold on the screen tablet after I tried it, because it has actually helped my traditional stuff quite a lot. Instead of like a super slippery surface, you got like pen nibs that give you like that tooth, that tactile feel. It's that direct connection between, although not perfect, pretty close to like where I'm drawing is where I'm looking, versus me like looking up here. You know, it's all just preference though. Ryan, I always think I'm too stingy on art supplies. I always want to make the best of what I already. That's a very good trait. I love that. That's such a good trait. Because you can make wicked pieces of art and still study just the same with like cheaper stuff to a degree. I think like for me, buying stuff sometimes, like just, oh, I need the, even like how I was saying, like I want like the little toolbox thing, or I want like whatever. It's a bit of procrastination if I'm being realistic with myself. You know, it's a bit of procrastination. I just need to shut up and get to work. I would never say that to you guys. I'll say it to me though, all the time. Also been playing around with like web animations this week as well. So I'm working out that landing page for light bulb moments, which is going to be a new course coming out, which goes into the whys behind me making all these little decisions. I used to use Paperlight for my iPad, which gave me that perfect paper texture that the iPad screen didn't supply, and then they changed the texture, so now it feels like drawing on sandpaper. Yeah, that's yeah. No, I can empathize with that. Right, slowly getting it. I mean, this is the thing, right? We could go until this is like a one-to-one recreation if we wanted to. But I don't want to. I still want to just like hang out here for a little bit longer, and then maybe we can do like some stylized sketches of this dude. And this obviously gets more difficult with different light sources and color and all that kind of stuff. Well, hopefully this is, you're getting something out of this. Carrots. All realistic, I know. Something a bit different, right? Oh, a bit of Oasis. Very nice. Champagne Supernova. In the sky. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right. Cool, got that little highlight in the eye, very nice. these little changes, all these little value changes just like add just extra bits of realism. One thing I'd recommend for like the new people starting out as well, foster this like deep love for the tedium and the game that is figuring this stuff out. I wish I had more of that when I was a bit younger. Mind you, maybe I couldn't have it when I was younger because I didn't have the, I don't know, hindsight. But it's like, this is where it's at. Figuring this stuff out. It's not something to just get past and get to a certain point. It's then utilizing what we're learning here on our own stuff. Yeah, so as I was saying, I was working on like web animations. I've got like a cool little animation where you like click on and off because it's like light bulb moments, which is like the name of the course. So like you click it on and off and it like shows. I'll show you after if I can remember. I remember you talking about a website that you're building. I'm not sure, but I remember you talking about it. Yeah. So it's with me and Francis. I got to get him on stream one day. Maybe I can. I don't know if he'd be interested in this, but I could teach him some drawing. But yeah, we are building our own course platform the exact way that I want to display my stuff because I couldn't find it anywhere else. And it's coming along great. All right. Now, one of the most difficult things I find with, for example, like this head, right, are these large swaths of very subtle mid-tone changes, right? So let's see why is it tricky? It's because it's so subtle, and like if you do it quote unquote wrong or incorrect or not in context, it kind of just looks like a bruise, you know, like it doesn't look like a crease as such. It just looks just a little bit off, and then sometimes it's really hard to figure out why. That's where we might get a bit of the smudge going on maybe. But I don't tend to rely on smudges too much. I want to be very selective where I smudge and why I smudge and what I smudge. And then come back in and sharpen up some of those sections. See, there's this little triangle part here. I can't remember who said it. Excuse me. I can't remember who said it. But I remember like one thing to think about is look for the gradients. I think I mentioned it with like line decker stuff. Look for the gradients, because that's going to give a lot of telltale signs about the light direction. So here, this weird little shape that I'm seeing here, it's there, right? That's what I'm looking at. There are like slight gradients and variations within that shape, which then in context makes sense. We don't necessarily, it depends if you want to go stylized with it and you just like whip it in there, which works as well. It's not terrible. But just like figuring out where the gradients are in these shapes can really help as well. And just doing a little bit of flip. work. Okay, so there's some, whoa, calm down with your values. Would texture brushes be easier than the selection tool for that? I don't know. Easy is subjective, I guess. I appreciate it, Lynn. Lecturer gave us a break. Nice one. Ryan, we're listening to groovy songs, paintings, and brushes will be put aside. Dancing is crucial to painting, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anu Plal 87, thank you so much. Thanks for popping in. Vivid, smudging is a crutch. By the time you can utilize a smudge tool with mastery, you no longer need it. Kind of, right? True. How's the little one going as well? I forgot to ask. How's Ben doing? Romy, hey Ben, first time catching you live. Oh, awesome. First timer, welcome. Big fan, just picked up your tutorial. Can't wait to put it to use. I can't wait for you to get something out of it. Thanks for popping in. All right, let us continue. Now we could really like get this closer from here, well, here, where there's like a lot more darks than here. Where am I pointing? Here. Okay, so here, yeah. So here, a lot more darks, a lot more contrast. Here, not so much yet. So adding in just some hints. We could ever just, I'm talking just like, boop, just like a tiny, with the values in the eye. Maybe not, just another little tick down in here, just to give it a little bit more depth in the eye. And then this hard line with the glasses, and it's kind of like that mottled color on the glasses as well. Now there's a cool little shape here which then sits the glasses on the face and gives it more context, which is this little thing here. It's like the nose thing. You know what I'm talking about. He's up and moving around, which means he keeps bumping into things. Oh man, he's just learning to walk. That's fantastic. That's cool. That'll keep you on your toes. Now, in doing this, I can see that we need to potentially knock down a lot of these shapes in value. Now we're getting a little nitty gritty here. We don't need to get this. I think we leave it. I'm getting a little nervous. Christian knee. What's happening, dude? How are you? Everyone say hi to Christian. We have to watch him closely. He just tumbled off his toy box again. He isn't very high, and we surrounded it with pillows, so he's fine. That's good. You so not a gun. You so you so not a gun. I think Christian just released a new video, or a video recently. Highly recommend go checking that out. YouTube is Christian Knee. Dang man, so embarrassing. Dude, you just mentioned it. Made it worse. I think it's Christian Knee. Christian Knee TV. Bam. There you go, go check it out. Let's scooch this dude over. Now his other eye's looking a bit off. Now, okay. What's the time? Okay, shit. Let's wrap this up real quick. I just want to fix this eye because the angle's all off. And then we'll do a stylized one, and then we'll call it a strem. Yeah, I thought this is something a bit different, you know. This eye just got to be knocked right the way down. I'm not even looking necessarily just at the eye. Looking at that inner corner, this angle. This here. So many screens are good for the neck, yeah. I appreciate it, Opal. Yeah, Lana, I highly recommend going to San Diego. It's beautiful. Now we look at this, right? This sort of negative shape. Or is this a positive or a negative shape? I don't know. You decide. But if we're looking at this, like in relation to like his whole head, this kind of needs to be changed because there's like refraction stuff with the glasses that makes it pop out a little bit more. And I think the glasses, like this whole shape is wrong. Wrong. Let's see if we can. And this is where I'll get like white paint and just go boop, boop, and like fix it all up. There we go. I remember seeing your sculptures that you had in tandem with your paintings. Would it ever be feasible to live stream the sculpting process? I would enjoy that as well. I would love to do that, Vivid. That's definitely on the content plans in the future. Because I reckon it's a wicked idea to learn to sculpt as a 2D artist. Also fun traditional paintings. Yeah, doing both. No, that'd be good fun. Okay, I think this whole thing blend into each other. Yeah, look, we'll keep him there. There's like a more realistic kind of vibe. Okay, let's get back into, I was going to say fun zone. I thought that was fun. I'm probably not going to paint this one, but I'll play around with shapes for sure. And let's go back to our brush settings. Let's add the shape dynamics back, so then I can get all squiggly with my stuff. Don't need this as much anymore. All right, let's settle in and figure out the simple shapes. But then we can just slowly build this up. Ear, boom, beard. This beard's wicked. There's a very, very different way of thinking. Bald head. And the cool thing is we could do like a hybrid, right? We could go understand the values on here and then see if we can translate them. Okay, let's have a look. A bit more of the back of the head. The old flip. And now this depends how far you want to take it. Realism, likeness wise as well, you know. Now he's got one thing I'm noticing though with his eyes. If we were to do like a front view, nose, eyes, beard, let's say. Beard coming out here up. One thing that I am looking at is at the eyelid directions. He's got really kind of like my, I don't know if you can even see it, like my eyes kind of like go down a little bit, like the lids. So we could like really accentuate that if we wanted to. You know, so that's one thing that I'm keeping an eye on. Pun fully intended. He's got a little bit of this going on as well. Let's figure out these glasses. Still want to ground it in reality as well, so let's see if we can get these glasses just fitting where they need to. Better. Better, better, better. Now this is not necessarily as stylized as I'd like to go. Noi Turbolik, you have a fixed schedule for live? Yes. This time, every week. Put it in your calendar. Now you can decide where or how you want to tackle this border between the beard and the cheek. There's lots of different ways you can do it. I still want to feel this roundness, you know? And I think these eyes could even be a little bit more like this. We can play around with the eye size as well. Like we can make his eyes a little bit smaller. Does that make sense? Probably not. I don't know. Let's try it out. You never know. If you never go, let's have a look. That could work. Let's knock him back and let's refine. Big ears like 3x the size of that. I know. I should. Now we go. We're going to rein it in because if every ear is big, then no ear is big. Do you normally start a head shape as a rectangle instead of a circle? Does it depend on the subject? I've heard arguments for both methods, but my favorite artists swear by the rectangle. I swear by nothing. I just swear in general. But no, I don't swear by anything. It depends on the subject or the character, you know? Here, it's what I did was kind of like a half, like rectangularly, like I'm starting a circle and then going into a rectangle, and it's like a half circly rectangle thing, because that's kind of the shape that I saw. I could do it more circular, so the head is a lot more rounded, which could work. But it's really just a starting point. I think it should, whatever feels comfortable for you, 1, and 2, what does the subject call for? And that goes for like realism as well. So then we can decide if we want to do really simplified nose eyes, nostrils. Like I think I like the squarer head. So I might just square him off and bring it back a little bit, just so we get some of that overlap with the ear. I kind of like this just simplified nose. That works for me. But if I was going for likeness, I'd really try and like get the same nose and whatever. This works fine for me at the moment. Now really thinking about the overlapping shapes. So this beard might overlap the ear here. Does that make sense? Why is this eraser? Behave. Thank you. This is where even like whip out some reference of like artists that you like, stylized stuff, you know. Whatever you want. I just got to do the more rounder. Rounder kind of glasses, that works for me. And again, overlapping. The nose overlapping that other glass lens. Hot dog head. Ben, when did your first stream? Did you feel nervous when others watching you paint? 1000%. I was so nervous. Like, yeah. This is definitely, being able to talk and draw is a skill. Some people just know how to do it. I didn't. I had to figure it out. And a lot of that was just with repetition. Yes, definitely a skill that you can learn. It's something that you can get better at over time. So we can just keep refining. You ever see those like videos of making fun of AI image generation where the prompts are just like, but make it more that, and it's just Ben's art but make the ears more big? Imagine. He just like becomes an ear. An interesting video I was watching yesterday on the AI stuff, the AI image generation. Apparently ChatGPT can't generate a glass full of wine where it's like up to the brim. It can't do it because how many images have you ever seen of a wine glass with glass that's all the way up to the brim? Like it just wasn't trained on it, so it couldn't do it. I did my first outdoor drawing last month, just drawing trees. I can't even hold my pen right when hearing the footsteps of others. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. Doing the in real life out with other people. It is, yeah, it is pretty tricky. Because that is that thing of like, no, don't look at it. Don't look at it yet. It's not finished. It's not finished, so don't look at it. Sketchy, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you saw that in your feed, yeah. It was interesting. I think I'm also embarrassed that I have to take breaks like every 3 minutes. Arjun, what's your thoughts on editorial / commercial illustrations drawn in your style? That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, if it fits the vibe of the publication or whatever, yeah, it's sick. So now here we got to figure out how we want to simplify this mouth. Do we want to, because I see these sections here, they're like their own thing, so we could do it like that, where we really chunkify it. I like some of these little flyaway hairs as well. It's just a little bit, I don't know, gives it a little bit more life. And then some indication maybe of this being a different clump of hair, maybe. Like just going in different directions. Really doesn't look like him, but that's fine. We're not going for likeness here. And that's another little tip for streaming. Gamer Heroine, good morning. Usually catch you on YouTube. First time I've seen you live on Twitch. Thanks for popping into Twitch. Yeah, I've started to do the dual streaming on Twitch. For those people looking to do streams, if it's not looking right, just even for myself, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, it's not meant to look like this. You know, if I was really going for likeness and it's not looking right, it's like, we're not going for likeness right now, so don't worry about it. No one actually cares, but it's just like something that I've done in the past. When it's not looking right, it's like, I'm not focusing on it. And inside I'm just like sweating buckets. Yeah, let's just make this all one flat color maybe. Man, my lecturer literally encouraged us students to implement image generation into our design work. Was shocked to say the least there. I really had an image in my mind for days of something I was going to draw, and then I did, and it just looked like a bloke put stick-ups. I really thought like this would be my masterpiece. But who's saying that you can't redo it? You know, mate, that's just the first draft, Lana. That's just the first draft. A lot of my stuff looks like blobs with stick arms to begin with. So yeah, these sort of things, like the features, the eyes, the ears. Look up style reference. Do yourself a favor. Just look up some style reference. Because then you'll see how others have done it, and then you'll start to say, "Oh, I like how so and so did that," and then give it a shot. Does it feel good? Does it look good? And stick with it. This dude would have been a wicked turtle version from last stream. All right, cool. See them side by side. Well, one on top of another. Stylized, realistic. Two very different ways of working. Both you can learn a lot from. I reckon that's where we'll leave it. Let's see. Can I show you guys what I've been working on? Is this going to work? So yeah, I'm redoing my my personal site. So yeah. So when you load it, and then it turns on, and then you can turn it off, and you can turn it on, and you can turn it off, and you can turn it on. I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, this is all going to change, but I just wanted to get the mechanism working. I can just sit here and do it all day. But yeah. The web and coding is fun. Gamer Heroine, I love the idea of taking the same reference and approaching the study from two different styles. Yeah, I might do that more often. It seems like a cool little thing to do. All right. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. Plugs, you know where to find me. Stylized walkthrough, Gumroad, in the description. You know what it is. Make Now Think Later podcast, links in the description. Filthy plugin that I use for this guy quite a lot. Links in the description. You know where to find me. You're smart people. You know what's up. But yeah, keep an eye out for new courses coming out from me and new course platform coming out soon. Appreciate it super, and thank you guys so much for popping in. Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be able to sit here, draw, and have you guys follow along, watch, and hang out and have a chat. It is a ton of fun. Same time next week, 10:45 a.m. Australian Central Daylight Time. I believe it's around 4 p.m. PST. the day, so Sunday, 4 p.m. PST, Monday, 10:45 a.m. Australian Central Daylight Time. Every week. And with that, have the best of weeks, have the best of weekends, depending on where you're at in the world. Thank you again, and I'll catch you next week. Bye-bye for now. I've got all my tabs open. How do I stop it?